Hi guys, in this video we actually finally get around to adding the river objects for the logs and the turtles. We figure out the swim lanes as well, what direction everything goes, and we also get the frog to move with the flow of the river. So all of that is coming up after the fade. So this is the plan for today. So we're going to do our river objects today. I'm going to build a basic class for it, which is going to be kind of similar to the vehicle row that we have, this class here, so the vehicle row model. It's going to be very similar to that, but we need to know the swim lanes that we're on, because the swim lanes go that way, that way, that way, that way, or yeah, I think the top one is to the right, then it's the left, right, left, and it alternates down the screen. So we need to figure out the swim lanes because we need to move the frog in the appropriate direction for each swim lane. So if the frog lands on a log, if the frog lands on a log, then we have to move the frog in the appropriate direction as well as their own movement. So we need to take that into consideration when we're doing the frog movement. So we also need to move the frog back to the original starting position, because right now he goes outside the screen. So if I run the game just now, I can show you that. So he should be dead center. He's dead center of the screen just now, but he should actually slightly offset to the right. But if I go over to here, you can see that he kind of disappears. He shouldn't disappear. He should actually be sort of in that position. He should end the move there at the very edge of the screen and not go off the screen, because you can see he's half off the screen just now. So that's not good. Oh, just killed myself. Oh, just killed myself. So yeah, we need to do that as well today. And then finally, we've got our river collision detection and response. We need to figure that one out as well. As always, all the links for this are in the show notes below, as well as a whole bunch of other links as well, if you want to check that out as well. So I'm going to go and create a vehicle row model, but it's going to be a river object model. So that's inside our models here. So I'm going to do add class, and this is going to be our river object model. And it's going to extend from vehicle object model. Well, I guess it's row model. Maybe we should just change that to river row model. Keep it consistent. Where are we? River route. No, that's not right. Let's change that to row. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Okay, so that's our river row model, and we also need to have a constructor for that. So we need to do public river row model, and that is going to call the base class constructor, which takes in vehicle models, which we may have to create a base class for that. So we may have to do a sort of a kind of reworking of this, but not to fear. So we need this to be offset that, thanks to that, and then we need a direction in there as well, left, right, cooldown period. So we can fill in most of these, but enumerable vehicle model. The next one is offset distance. I'm going to keep that in there. Float offset. That's going to be models offset distance, pixels per second. Vehicle ghost, there's going to be a ghost because they all have ghosts. There's no special rows for this. And then the direction, so that's going to be direction. And then the cooldown period. We don't need that, so we can pass that in as -1. So we need to pass in these objects, we need to pass in these parameters to this base constructor, or to the base classes constructor. So we need enumerable vehicle model, models, float offset distance, float, is that float pixels per second? Yep. Pixels per second. And then the last one we need is vehicle direction. Direction. What is that? Controllers dot vehicle direction. Vehicle direction. Okay, so we can get rid of that there, and we can change that to direction. Okay, and do control period and add that reference. And that's all we have for that. And the other thing we need to do is we need to pass in the rectangle that it's based on. Go region. And we'll add that there. Private, sorry, it's going to be public rectangle, and we'll just call this bounds. And we'll say bounds equals rectangle. What do I call it? Region. Let's call it bounds. Right, so that is our river row model, and then we know what direction it's going to be. Do we expose I think we expose the speed as well. Get the speed in pixels per second. So we also need to know when we update that, we need to update the frog as well. So we need to figure that out in the controller. Okay, and then vehicle model. Okay, so vehicle model is fine. Maybe we don't need to have that as a vehicle model. Maybe we could call it something else. Vehicle is a bit... I mean, I guess a log is a vehicle. I mean, it gets you from one place to another. By the way, not sponsored, but you know, like Tim Hortons, if you want to, you know, throw some coin my way. Anyway, oh, it actually tastes like coffee. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing that I did for this one here, which is a game state. So I'm going to create this factory, a whole bunch of factories. I'm not going to bore you guys with me doing that. I am going to fast forward this bit, but you'll be able to see me doing it in like ultra fast motion, that kind of thing. But yeah, if you want to see this, I will cut this bit out and I'll put it in at the end if you're so interested. It's not going to be much talking. In fact, no, I'm going to skip it. I won't bother putting it at the end. Anyway, I'm going to go and create the factories just now, and I will see you after this speeded up montage. All right, so I want to make this a kind of generic thing. So I want to have like a base vehicle controller. I'm not entirely liking the word vehicle now, but let's not bother mucking around with that. So I'm going to create a add class base. Let's call it base movable controller. Let's call it base movable controller. And base movable controller is going to contain all of this. So I'm going to take in all of this stuff here. So basically everything that is inside the update, everything that's inside the constructor, and all of these private variables, they all come out of here and we'll go into this class here. And I'm going to make that an abstract class, and I'm going to fix up all these things here and all that kind of stuff. And this is going to be that one there, and this one here. Okay, and I'm going to create two new things. So what happens when they're inside this area? So if it hits a vehicle, what happens when you hit an area? So so instead of calling reset, I think what I want to do is I want to take this out and this out, and then let the caller decide what happens here. So we can get rid of this offset, needs to be taken into consideration because that's been done. So what happens is when we hit something. So I'm going to create a, what do we need to know? Well, let's pass in what the rectangle was. So we're going to say protected void on collision rectangle rect. So something collided with that, and that is going to be an abstract, which means that whoever calls it, whoever implements this class has to implement on collision. So this means that we can then get all this functionality here that we have, all this stuff here. I'm waving my hands in front of that, but I should be waving the mouse. All this functionality here, we get that for free when we move it to some other feature, because we want to decide what happens when they hit a particular vehicle. So instead of that, I'm going to say on collision rect, and this one here is going to be on collision rect ghost. I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to comment that out there, which means that we don't need reset. I don't think we need reset. So if I get rid of reset, does that cause us problems later on? No, it does not. Okay, that's good. So I can get rid of reset, which is good. I do still need to know the player, because I need to know that the player has interacted with the object. So I need to keep that player, and I need to know the rows. So that's fine. So now if I go back to here and vehicle controller, that's going to implement iController. So that's going to implement iController. This is going to implement base movable, implement abstract class. So I need to do that for the collision, and then I need to have public vehicle controller, and I need to take in what I had before, this one here, plus the iReset. Reset, and call base player rows reset equals reset. And then I want to say private iReset, and then in here I want to do reset death. So at this point they've hit something, they've hit a vehicle and they die. Okay. All right. So that's on collision. So the reset there, and reset there, and then everything else here just moves the objects. So if we run this, nothing should have changed. It should still work. Okay, so if I bump into there, I hit oh, let me just not die for a second. Okay, I'll get smushed by that. Perfect. So everything's working as expected. That's good. So now that means though that we can now create a river object controller that just moves the objects. And I think we can get away with just using the same renderer. So we have a vehicle view, which is this, and that takes in all the models. So I think we can have vehicle view. All it does is just updates the vehicles and the positions, and everything else will work out from that. So if I do var river object top equals new vehicle, was it river row model, river, the hell did I call it? Log factory. Probably not a good name for it, but never mind. Create that, comma, and then it's going to be offset distance is 0, I think. And I think everything else just defaults to that. 36. Okay. That there. Why is it not liking that? Models. Oh, right, okay. There we go. Offset distance. Oh, okay. I have to put that in there. Okay. Comma, offset distance 0, 36, left to right, and new rectangle 0, in fact it's not, it's going to be 0, 48, comma, 256, comma, 16. And then I'm going to say var river models equals new river object top, because that's all we have just now. Var river view equals new vehicle view. State machine.game.content sprite batch river models views.add river view and controllers.add and then we need a new vehicle controller for this. So we need to create a river vehicle controller. So I will go to here, I think I have one, don't I? No, I don't. Add river objects controller. And that is going to be base movable controller. Object controller, and what does that need? Base model, it's going to be player rows. Player controller player, and enumerable vehicle models. Rows. Well, it does not like that at all. What does it need? Player model. Okay, and it needs ionerable vehicle model. That's right. Oh. Okay. And then I need to do override on collision, do something. So we don't have the do something yet, but we will in a sec. And let's just go back and make sure that's okay in there. Game state, add new. Oh, it's going to be var river controller equals new. River object controller, and it is player model and river models. Controllers.add river controller. All right, so we should have a log going that way. Hey, we have a log going that way. All right. Okay, so now we need to have a log going the other way. So that's good. So when it gets into this, so you see that the log is actually on top of froggy. So we need to make the frog being on top. So that's a bit of a problem. So we should fix that. I think we can get around it by we can change the Z order, but I think we can just cheat for just now and just make frog the last view to be created. So it'll get drawn last. Which is a bit kind of, how's your father kind of thing, but yeah, player view. So I'm going to move that from here and make this the last one. Allow the views to specify their Z order. So this should fix that problem, or this will fix that problem, I should say. And boom, there you go. So there's Froggy on top of that. Now what we need to do is we need to, when the frog enters there, we need to know that it has collided. So I'm going to create another one that checks to see now how are we going to do that? We did this before for the player controller. So player controller, I think animation. Do we not have this on? When do we call reset? I think we had. We didn't. Go down period. So move finished. There we go. So what is move finished? So move finished is that. So who uses move finished? So this is used by the goal controller. Player reset. Okay, so we need to pass in player reset. So on where are we? Where's our river controller? Okay, so we need to pass in player reset here. So I reset, reset, and we'll say reset equals reset. Private, reset. Okay, and then we'll do reset dot move finish plus equals reset move finish. So we'll say we'll change that to player. And now we know that the player has finished moving it. We can then say that we can then check to see if the player is inside the rectangle. or inside our row rectangle, and if it is, then we want to, well, let's say check if the player is inside one of the row rectangles. If so, tell the frog he is moving. Okay, so we're going to do for each var. I don't think we expose rows. Where's rows? Okay, we have that as private, so let's do a protected list, ilist vehicle row model, because we're not going to be able to change this. Get return rows. Rows. Okay. And now we can do that inside here. So we can say var row in rows. If what do we got here? If row dot bounds. Oh, but we haven't done that, so we need to do, that's a vehicle row model. So we can say var river row equals row as river row model, and then we can say if river row is not equal to null. So just in case we somehow screw up what controller we're putting this on, we can make sure that we're doing the right thing. So we can say if river row dot bounds dot contains, and I don't think we know the player model. So again, we can go back to here and we can say protected player model, player get return player. And then this will probably complain because if I change that to that, take that out, and then say player, and then change a couple of places where it is. That's probably better. All right, so that fixes that. Contains player dot rectangle. How do I do it in the other one? Player area. Okay, so player area equals that. All right. Let me grab that there. So we do this to start with, and then we say player area. We need to tell the frog that we are moving. So if it contains that, we want to bounce straight out of this. So we want to say, let's call reset dot change set force, and then it's going to be whatever the row speed is. So it's going to be river row dot speed times, and then it's going to be river row dot direction equals left to right. That's going to be 1, otherwise it's going to be -1. So we don't have that set force yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to iReset, and I'm going to say void set force float force. set the outside force on the frog only changes x-axis position. Now we also need to check the position. So that to that, that to that, that works there. And then we also need to change that in the update. So we need to do override update. Oh, we can't override the update. Let's go back into here. And we will change that to virtual. Actually, let's have let's not do that. Let's do a protected virtual void on update. Delta time. So just in case somebody wants to override it, they can override it, but they don't have to override it. So let's continue. So at the very end of this one, we want to do on update delta time. So just in case somebody wants to override that and do something special with it, we can do that. So in this case here, we're going to do override on update to do what happens when froggy hits the bounds. He dead. So we need to reset froggy when he hits the bounds there. So as soon as he taps the edge of the bounds, we need to get him to stop moving. So if that's SetForce, we then need to return from there. Otherwise, we need to tell froggy that he is no longer moving. So this is going to constantly update. So we need to tell froggy that he's not moving. So reset.setForce 0. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's good enough. I need to compile it because I can't remember where SetForce is. So player controller does not implement SetForce. What was that complaining about? Oh yeah, that needs to be reset player controller. Where's the controller? Player controller, there you go. And player controller reset. And so that's going to be public void set force float force equals that. And then up here we'll just have a private for float force equals 0. That there. So the X position is going to be, when we update it, the position is going to be that. Animation is done. So that's going to update that position. Animation update. So we need to do the animation. We need to update the animation based on that. We need to update the position based on that. So that needs to be plus force new vector 2 force times delta time comma 0. So you need to add it to that. And then we need to add the same thing again wherever else we do it. So force position equals that. In death animation, okay, that's fine. Why is that a hard-coded value? Animation.position. Oh, because it's resetting it. All right. In-depth animation. Okay, so yeah, it's resetting it there. Okay. So I think that's right. But we also need to update the position if they're not being animated, like if it's not moving. So if animation is not equal to null and animation is not equal to done, else model.position equals model.position plus new vector 2 force times delta time, comma 0. Okay. So for the most part, it should just be at rest. So Froggy's not moving there. So we move him up to here, and he should start moving over to the right. There we go. And then when he hops off, he'll stop moving. Boom. Oh, he's drifting. So we need to move him. We need to tell him to not move. So when he goes home, we need to reset the frame. So that can be done down here. We can say model dot force equals 0. Where's frame? So actually it's going to be force equals 0. So let's see where that is also. So we'll do force equals 0. Okay, that's the only two places it happens. And we get rid of that. All right. Starting to feel like a Frogger game. All right. Okay, let's try this again. Quite excited about this bit now. Okay, so we go over here and then we join this bit here, and you can see that he's at the edge there. It does move a bit slower when you move left or right. Maybe you can move like the half. Maybe if they're in that lane, then they can move half speed to the left. I don't know. I'm going to leave it for just now, which is code for I'm not going to change it. But it's working. So now I can go there and go boom. Okay, so now that that's working, I can reset the player's position. So let's find out where to do is. Forgets the bounds, add other states, add your logic here. No, that's not right. Well, we can get rid of that. That's just cluttering up stuff here. Add other states, add a game object down here. Where's that? Yeah, we've got all that covered. Why is that not jumping to 65? Okay. There's your input here. So the player model is 7. I think it's just that. I think it's just that's all we need to do is change it was to put it to there. And so now Froggy should stop at the bounds, which is right. And he should stop the bounds there, which is good because now oh damn it. Now he can actually like enter home. So there you go. Ah, okay. This is good. I'm taking a celebratory drink of coffee. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go and build up the other objects for the river, and then we'll figure out about detection. Actually, let's do the detection thing just now. So when we got a river object there. So if if it contains that, we need to know that he's on the river. So I think if I run this game, he should actually move if he's not on the river, which is not good. Oh, damn it. Actually, do you know what? The nice thing about this is I can go to vehicle controller, and I can just comment that out. So now I'm invincible. There you go. Sucks to be you, cars. So now when I go here, he moves over there, but that's not what I want him to do. I want to check to see if he has hit something. So I really want to check it on every single move. So when we've got the river here, so we check each one there. We need to check to see if he's on an object in there. So we've got to say if that's the case, do that. Otherwise, he's dead. So if it contains the player, if the river row contains the player, then we want to say if river row dot hits object. Let's call it hits object, or touches object. We want to do that. Otherwise, we want to do reset dot reset death, because you're dead. I'm going to create an object here, generate that, and then inside there, actually, yeah, it's probably not a good idea having that in there, because we want that inside the controller. So let's have that inside this controller here. So we can pass that into here. So we can say touches object river or row player. Okay. So we're going to create a vehicle model. So inside here, we're going to have I'm going to put it up here just now because it makes it a little bit easier to type it. So I'm going to say protected bool, what do I call it? Touches object, and then it's going to be a row. So it's going to be vehicle row object, row model, row, and then it's going to be rectangle player rect. And so this is going to take all of this out here. So instead of row in there, I'm going to take this row and I'm going to take that out like that, and I'm going to put that in there. And instead of that, I'm going to say return true. And instead of that, I'm going to say return true. And I'm going to say return false. Falses. So, so it's basically just the same logic we had before, but I'm taking it out inside a function, because inside here I'm going to say if touches object row, and then I need the player rect. So that is going to be, take that out there and put that in here. player area, and then that's going to be on collision. Oh, it needs to know the rectangle, doesn't it? Damn it. Let's have rectangle rect equals rectangle dot empty out rect. So I don't have that rectangle there, but that's fine. I can fix that in just a sec. So touches row, that's going to be player area out rectangle rect. So rect equals r rect. Rect equals r rect ghost. Rect equals rectangle dot empty. Okay, so that's that there, and that fixes that there. And then in this side here, I can just do r rect equals rectangle dot empty, because I don't really care about this. Rect out rect. So if it touches an object, then I want to change the direction. If it doesn't touch the object, then you're dead. Okay. Okay, so crossing the river, touch the object, everything's fine, and you're dead. Okay. So I'll go back up to here, and you're dead. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Nice. Okay. That's sorted out then. What happens when Froggy hits the bounds? Okay. So if he hits the bounds, then he's dead. So I'm going to say if player dot position dot x is less than or equal to 0, or player dot position dot x is greater than or equal to it'll be 240, then you're dead. Reset dot reset death. So if you jump on here and then write it to the end, well, you don't see it. Reset mode death. Player controller. So the problem is if you're dead, if you're dead, I want you to. I sometimes want you to continue there, but like I want you to stay on the log. Sometimes I don't. Okay, well, what if we had a reset? Roll reset force. Reset the force before dying. Okay, and then in player controller, We got this would be boolean reset force equals false, param reset force reset for dying, and then we'll say if reset force equals 0. So if you're going to die in the bounds, then you're going to die here. So that's going to be true. So so now I need to set that for everything, I think, wherever I do that, which is not good. So if I do that in here, can I do that as... Okay. All right, that's a good... So we default it to false. So when we run through here, getting to the end should kill him. And I think the problem is we're resetting it too late. What if we made that 224? I'm not entirely sure the width of the screen is that. You know what? I don't think the width of the screen is that. Wait. Oh, I need to reset that as well. Darn it. So it's 216. 216? Okay. 216, and then the reset for the player is wrong as well. So player controller, it's resetting to that -8. Fine, -8. Alright, I don't need that. Okay. And keep running. I'm not going to make it. Am I going to make it? Yeah, I'm going to make it. Boom. Okay, so there you go. He's dead. That's good. He's only slightly off the screen. So I think we can make that 218. River object, 208 even. An even 208. I could not have done that if I planned it. There you go. That's him. He's dead. But does that give you enough time to get out of there and safely into the house? Okay. Yeah, you can do that. Okay. Yeah, you get enough time. All right. So we're getting there. Okay. What else do we need to do? What was on the list? So we get that there. I need to do all the other turtley things as well. And what have we got? So add the river objects, figure out the swim lanes, which we've kind of done. Move the frog in the appropriate lane, we've done that. Move the frog back to his original starting position, we have done that. There was not a to-do marker for that. River collision detection and response, we've done that. So we're actually in pretty good stead for this. I just need to go back and do the river object. So I'll stop the video just now. I'm gonna go and do that. It's boring, tedious work. It's basically creating a whole bunch of other factory classes. The code will be in the link below inside the GitHub repo. So you can pick it up, but it is literally just figuring out positions and then filling in those values. So it's gonna be instant for you, but I'm gonna stop recording just now, and then we'll pick it up after this.
A few moments later.
And so that gives us this looking thing. So this is, for all intents and purposes, Frogger. There's a couple of little bits and pieces we need to tidy up, but for the most part we are done with the main gameplay. The rest of it is just adding little bits and pieces, like we could add the snake and all that kind of stuff there, but I'm going to leave that as an exercise for the reader, viewer, whatever. Oh, that's a problem. So when he gets to the end there, he dies. So we need to make sure that they're not in there. So let's go back to the river row, river controller. Where's the river controller? I'm not seeing it. River row model. Just go here. River object controller. Okay. So river row bounds contains player. Right, okay. On update. Okay, I need to figure out if that collides with there. I could cheat here. I could say player.force, but I don't have access to force, do I? Okay, well, let's not cheat then. Let's say if row dot if touch object row. I need to figure out the player area again. Not really sure where this is going. So I don't want this to check unless the player is active inside there. So I think what I might do is let me have a private row on river lane, and then say on river lane equals true, on river lane equals false, and then say if that and that. So if the player isn't in a river lane, then we get them, we don't kill them, so when we get to the edge there, it doesn't die. So when we get to the edge there, it doesn't die, but if we jump up here, yeah, we die immediately there, that's not good. Okay, that's a problem. So let's make that less than 0. And I'm okay with that one, I think. So we go to here. So they're on a lane there. Oh, that's not good. What happened there? Well, that's not good either. Oh dear. Okay, the chances of it actually happening are fairly slim, but okay. I mean, we could not kill them if they go to the left-hand side. I mean, that might be a way out of it. But the problem is yeah, I think we do kill them if we go to the left-hand side. I think that's okay. I think that rule is okay. And the biggest problem is that. So let's see why that is happening. So let's figure out why that's happening. So aim state. So do I still have my debug thing in here? No, I don't. Where's the debug? So let me unplug this one. And so I want to do debug view dot add rect. I need to do it for everything, don't I? So I'm going to do that for the river 5 row. So I need to save that. Debuggy row. Get rid of that, and then make that debug row. Okay, so that's going to be debuggy row. Okay, and then down here, that there, debug row, and there's one missing. Debug row. That's that there. And then up here we can then just say debug row equals river row 5. So whatever row we want to debug, we can just slap in that debug row and then that'll just work. So immediately we can see a little bit of an issue. The offset is offset. So that's working, but then it shifts to there. And I think it is because if I take out this here, this offset, that might be the reason why. Yeah. So now this should flip to the red. Yep. Okay, so that offset is not being taken into consideration for the view. So if I go down to the debug view, then debug review plus model dot offset. Yeah, and then plus debug row dot offset distance. What is the offset? Okay, hang on a second. So if I go to there, base, and then the offset distance is offset left. So that would be offset distance. Okay. Okay. Our offset diff equals debug row dot offset distance int. Plus that. So that should get us back to, okay, and then if I add 32 to that, should mark it as being right. That is wrong. It's exactly 2 out. Is it because it should be negative? I'm feeling maybe because it's negative. Because it should shift it back. There you go. Okay. Alright. Oh, that's wrong now. So the ghost isn't? Should the ghost be plus then? So the ghost shouldn't have it? Or is, oh, maybe because the ghost doesn't have an offset. How does that work then? Okay, that's I just want debug information. Okay, so that's the debug information we're getting there. And you can see those values are getting swapped out. But the problem is if I go to here, I shouldn't be able to hit that. So why am I hitting that? So I'm going to put a breakpoint there and then find out why that is hitting that, because it shouldn't. If I miss that, I should not. So I'm hitting that. So river row contains a play area. Does it touch an object? River row, blah 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 blah, out rect. So I'll do an F11. So inside there are the vehicles, and so it doesn't intersect that. And it doesn't intersect that. So what does it intersect then? So it intersects a ghost at that point, which is left 67. What's player? I need to know how much it intersects by. What do we have in here? Intersect, inflate, contains, intersects. Offset. I wonder if I can do union. I wonder if what that gives us. Okay, let me see what union is. Var union equals rectangle dot union rect and then it's player, isn't it? So that would be player area. Console.log running union dot toString. Okay. Because if that area is less than something, then we're not interested in them hitting it. So if I go to here and go boom like that, so it's hitting that. Touches object. Rect is that. Union is size 31 by 16. Height 16, width 31. How is that a union? Okay, well let's figure out what happens if you hit bang slap in the middle then. Let me get the red one. Needs to be a red one. Okay, so that's me hit a red one. And the union is width is 20. So if I hit 19, 18, 17, okay. Let me do a fudge in here because I'm not entirely sure if this is right, but I'm going to say if union dot width is greater than 20, rect equals rectangle, actually let's do less than 20. So it'll only collide if it's less than 20. I'm sure. I think that makes sense. So if I do it here, I die. Okay, that's better. So I need to do the same thing up here as well. Ugh, I don't like that. Okay. So we'll do var union equals rectangle dot union rect where area if union dot width is less than 20, then we'll do that. So that should prevent any strange things. So you should die when you hit that, die when you hit that, but we should survive. Oh, see, now we're not surviving when we hit that even. See, the problem is this is individual vehicles. So each one of these is, that's me bang slap there, but if I move to there, then it's going to be off there. So I need to, it's less than 30. Return true. Because if it was 32, then you died. So if I do this and then jump out again in front of this, you're dead. If we go straight up here, okay, and you're dead there, dead, okay, dead. Alright, that's good. Dead. Yep, okay, cracked it. I mean, I'm not ideal with the union, but I'm okay if it works. Okay. I think it's a bit expensive to do that. I really wish my control key would work. Game state. Okay, so I can get rid of that update there. I can get rid of debug row, and I can get rid of debug view and debug row. But I can put them on the same kind of grouping. What else do we need? Shoot, that one there. Okay. So what else do we need to do? So I get that sorted out there. I mean, we need an end game. We also need a kind of game over when you're dead. So when you die, also we need to figure out a score as well. So I think all of that's going to be in the next video. But all in all, I think that's successful. I think we did everything that we needed to set out today to do. So what have we got? Add the river objects, logs and turtles, figure out how the swim lanes, move the frog in the appropriate direction of each swim lane, which we've done. which is looking nice. Move the frog back to the original starting position, which we've done. River collision detection and response, we have done. And that's it for the video for just now. Next time we'll tidy everything up. We'll get a start screen, a game over screen, and then the sort of end conditions of when you die, when all your frogs get lost. And we should probably add a timer as well. It looks like we're missing the timer down the bottom there as well. So anyway, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down. Let me know in the comments below why you liked it either way. And thank you all very much for watching. If you have any suggestions for any other videos, leave them in the comments below. And as always, the links for the source code for this video and for other videos is on the GitHub page. And the links again are down in the notes below. So thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.